Hi, how's everyone doing? I hope everyone is doing well. Had a good end of the week, end of the month at this point. We are wrapping up our recipes from TV shows I've always wanted to try with our breakfast of the week. We are making the waffles from JJ's Diner in Parks and Rec, because nothing's finer than JJ's Diner. So it's definitely going to be a treat yourself kind of a breakfast for us. If you've never seen Parks and Rec, it's a really funny show, very well written. Stars Amy Poehler, you've got Rashida Jones, Rob Lowe comes in there, Adam Scott, Nick Offerman, Aubrey Plaza, Chris Pratt, Retta, Aziz Ansari, whole bevy, and I think it's Jim O'Leary. I think that's who plays Larry, Gary, Jerry. It's got a great cast, lots of fun guest stars. It's about Pawnee, Indiana, civil servants working for the Parks and Rec department, and small town government, stuff like that. But it's very well written, very funny, touches on a lot of great issues. So yeah, and they have these waffles. It's not just one episode; it's so many episodes all over the course of all the seasons. You see them going to JJ's frequently, and Leslie Knope loves her waffles. So we're gonna make them because they always look delicious. Let's get to it. It's time for another episode of Cooking with Kaitlin. That's me. Enjoy. All right, we're going to start with half a cup of warm water and a package of active yeast. Let me get that in there. It's about 2 teaspoons. So we're just going to let that, give it a little stir just to make sure it's all acting. Just going to leave that for about a minute. Then we're going to add some sugar to it. All right, we'll check back in a minute. All right, it's been about a minute, so we're adding 2 teaspoons of sugar. Just gonna give that a stir. And we're just gonna let that go, leave that mixture, you see it, for about 10 minutes. We're gonna do a couple other things in the meantime, so I'm gonna move you guys. All right, so we've got half a stick of butter, 4 tablespoons, that we are gonna let melt and brown, because brown butter is just always a richer flavor, and it improves pretty much anything it's in. So we're going to do that. I'll check back when it's melted and able to brown, but just letting you know that step. All right, so it just took a couple minutes to melt. Just keep checking and stirring as it darkens and browns. That's what we're aiming for. So we'll check back in a little bit there. I'm also going to say I've got 2 cups of milk that I let sit out for about half an hour to get to room temperature, and now I'm just going to slightly heat in the microwave because it needs to be warmed. So figured I'd let it get to room temperature for about half an hour and then microwave it for first for a minute, and then if it's not warm in 30-second intervals, because I don't want it to be hot, just warm. So just letting you know that, and we'll check back as this starts browning. All right, see how much y'all can see. So it's been a few minutes and it's starting to nicely brown, which is what we want. So we're getting it there. And then I'm going to remove it from heat and let it cool just for a couple minutes before we add it in with our other ingredients. See, it's just getting to be that nice brown butter. Oh, it's just got such a rich flavor. It just really adds depth, kind of character to what you're making. So it's worth it for a couple extra minutes if you've got them. All right. All right, so it's been the 10 minutes. We've got our 2 cups of warmed milk we're adding in. Just gonna give it a bit of a whisk. Got our browned butter, just did. Getting all that in there. Actually, I'm going to use a spatula to make sure we got all of it out. Because if we made it, by George, we're going to have it. Give it another nice whisk around. Gonna add a teaspoon of salt. Get that in there, and then I've got 2 cups of flour. We're gonna whisk this till it's smooth. Then we're gonna cover it and let it rise. You can do this at night and cover it till the next morning, or you can do it first thing in the morning and cover it during the day. You want it covered at least 8 hours from everything I've read to let it rise properly. And you want it somewhere where it's warmer so it's able to kind of proof-ish. It's not proofing the way bread would, but it's rising in that same sense because you've got the yeast. But it's still going to wind up being better because obviously it's waffles, and you could put bread dough in a waffle maker. Be interesting. Lots of things you can waffle. I have done a few of them, and some for y'all. All right, we're just whisking it till it's completely smooth, and we're going to cover it and leave it alone in a warm area. Warm-ish. You don't want it like hot, just a warmer area. Not cold at the very least. For at least 8 hours. So I'm making this first thing in the morning because we're going to be having breakfast for dinner. And we'll have leftovers, of course, because it should make a decent bit. So we'll also have breakfast for breakfast. All right. So it's nice and smooth. I'm not feeling any lumps, which is what I wanted. So I'm going to cover it now, and I will check back with you guys later in the day. All right, so we've got it. It's been rising, and it's so warm to the touch underneath. So crazy. All right. Now we're going to add in our last few ingredients, which is 2 eggs. Got those nicely in. Add in 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. That whisked in. And then 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Separate it out. If you want to go full Parks and Rec, treating yourself, you could do like Ron Swanson and add all the bacon and eggs. All the bacon and eggs. All the bacon and eggs you have to this, which is what I believe we are doing, because the hubby brought it up. It's like, oh, we can do that. It also kind of fits with like that Gergich family little like eggs, bacon, and toast, but like waffles. Just gonna scoop into this. Let me get powered on. It's ready. I think I actually have to grease it, so hang on. Alright. Then just scoop as you would. Ooh, that is hot stuff, hot stuff. And this is touchy, so we're just going to do a couple of scoops for this as we test it. Going to close it, and it'll tell me when it's ready. We'll check back then. Alright. Not as done as I thought. They didn't spread out too much either. So, try again. They might actually be the right level of done. Maybe I just didn't put in enough batter. Yeah, we're gonna try again. Hang on. Alright, so we're filling them up all the way this time. We'll see how that goes. And check back then. Alright. These came out a lot browner, looking like we want. I feel like that side's just always left done, which kind of happens with this, even with other. Alright. But okay. Alright, so I'm gonna finish these out. I'll check back in at the end. Alright, so I made some eggs, got myself my bacon, Sean's gonna eat the rest, and I've got my waffles, and you have to have the ultimate Leslie Knope topping for your waffles. You can add maple syrup if you want, I do butter for sure, but you gotta have whipped cream. Because she just pile it on. That might not even be enough for her. But there it is. JJ's waffles. And of course the bacon and eggs you'd have to have if you were going there with them. Bon appetit. Catch you later.